In this video, I'm going over the best fights from each BattleBots season from Season 1 in 2015, all the way up to Season 7 in 2023, starting off with the Season 1 match. Then we have Tombstone versus Biteforce. This was the final of the 2015 season, and both robots really deserved to be there. They were definitely the best two machines of the season. They both really earned their spot there, and it was a really hard-fought battle, really back and forth. Tombstone was dishing out big hits to Biteforce, the next Biteforce was pushing them around the arena. It's really back and forth fight. Really great slugfest as well when Tombstone's weapon stopped working towards the end of the fight. And it was a really, really entertaining one, really satisfying end to the season. Next up in Season 2, we have Minotaur versus Blacksmith. This is a really iconic fight. You've got millions of views on YouTube, and it's easy to see why, Minotaur was just decimating Blacksmith, got loads of great hits into them, caused a lot of damage, set Blacksmith on fire. One of the most action-packed fights, at the time. But Blacksmith didn't go down without a fight. They still got the hammer into play, swinging it all over the place. So it was a really good spectacle to watch. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's probably the best fight of Season 2. Maybe only matched by something like Beta versus Lucky, another great back and forth fight. But for me, Minotaur versus Blacksmith is just about the best. Next up, then we have Season 3, which goes to Biteforce versus Blacksmith for me. Now, Biteforce were the clear favourites going into this one, being former champions. Blacksmith had a bit of a point to prove here. Now, even though Blacksmith ultimately lost the fight, they didn't go down without a fight. They got the hammer into play loads of times to even stop Biteforce's weapon from working, which is actually quite a big statement, really, isn't it? Biteforce still got some big hits, and though they caused lots of damage to the bodywork of Blacksmith, they pushed them around a bit. Then Blacksmith put the hammer into good use, using it to jam up Biteforce a bit, pin them down. It was a really, really exciting and I think almost unexpectedly exciting fight. I thought Biteforce was going to dominate this, but in reality it was actually really, really close. And perhaps Blacksmith were a bit unlucky to actually lose this fight. Next up in Season 4, we have what is in my opinion the best fight of all time, Blacksmith versus Sawblaze. This was single-handedly the most back and forth fight I think we've ever seen in BattleBots. It's just constant action, hammer on overhead spinner, Blacksmith dishing out loads of hits to Sawblaze, Sawblaze pushing them around, getting the overhead spinner into play, causing a bit of damage. Both machines were on an absolute rampage in this fight. There was no stopping over them, really fast-paced. And like I said, it's just the most back and forth fight I think we've ever seen. I love back and forth fights. That's, in my opinion, what makes a fight great. Not necessarily big hits or destruction, although that does help. Just both robots really getting stuck into the action. There's great tactical driving in this one as well. Both machines were such well driven. Jameson going out Kindle were absolutely on point in this fight. Really entertaining. My personal favourite fight of all time, as I've just mentioned. And I think it is the best fight of Season 4. Next up in Season 5, then we have Valkyrie versus Rotator. This fight was absolutely excellent. It was just non-stop action from start to finish. Sparks flying absolutely everywhere. Damage all over the place. Rotator suffered massive damage to their bodywork. But they still dished out some good hits to Valkyrie, and both machines were just going at it without slowing down for the entire thing. Both robots had no room to breathe whatsoever. And that's what made this fight so great, in my opinion. A good back and forth fight, like I mentioned, is what makes a fight good for me. And while this fight was back and forth, it was also just non-stop action, more so than something like, Biteforce versus Tombstone from 2015. It was just hit after hit after hit. Neither of us backed down, even when they were damaged and bruised and beaten up by the other one. They just kept on going, and that made this fight super exciting to watch. Peak BattleBots entertainment. And for me, this is the best fight of Season 5, the 2020 season. Next up then from Season 6, we have Tantrum versus Rotator. Tantrum versus Rotator is another awesome fight. This fight was really back and forth as well, and I've mentioned that quite a lot. Rotator got lots of great hits in with the undercutter spinner, dishing out some decent ones. Then Tantrum pushed them around a bit, got that punching spinner weird design thing into play, overturning Rotator. Then the most dramatic moment at this point was when Tantrum actually stopped driving completely perfectly. They sort of crab walked a bit in the corner. Rotator capitalised on this, got some good hits in, caused a bit of damage to Tantrum. But then Tantrum suddenly started working perfectly fine again and completely turned the fight. Rotator maybe winning in that point. Then Tantrum drove Rotator across the arena, and just as the fight was about to finish, Tantrum got Rotator out of the arena into the danger zone in super dramatic fashion, and won the fight by KO. Absolutely amazing stuff, the best fight of Season 6 in my opinion. But not as good in my opinion as the Season 7 best fight, Sawblaze versus Minotaur. This fight was, like I said many times in this video, back and forth. Sawblaze were winning at the start of the match, getting lots of good hits in with the overhead spinner, pushing them into the arena screws, pushing them into all the hazards really, getting lots of good hits in. But Minotaur, they didn't go down with that fight. They just had lots of good hits to Sawblaze, got a nice string of hits actually with Daniel Rotator's amazing driving. I think Minotaur just were really, not necessarily unlucky, but a bit unfortunate to lose this fight with how well they started doing towards the middle of it, getting loads of hits to Sawblaze, and Sawblaze looks a bit punch drunk, it looks a bit like they didn't know what to do, until Minotaur caught fire, which, maybe hindered them a little bit. They still kept on going, they still kept on dishing out hits to Sawblaze. Then they got upturned, then Sawblaze pushed them around, then Sawblaze pushed them into the screws, and then the burning Minotaur got stuck on the screws, and they lost the fight by KO. Absolute madness, really dramatic fight, and it was a great quarterfinal match for BattleBots Season 7, and yeah, the best fight of this season in my personal opinion. So then, there are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree, I'd like to know. Make sure to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.